Welcome to the She Rise podcast. We are Karen Alexandra and Julia Plee, and today we'd like to go into sisterhood, the woman who rises, and also give you some just simple tricks how to start awakening and remembering the woman who's about to step and rise into her power.
Yeah. Welcome. Let's start about she rise, what it actually means when she rises.
Oof, yeah. What does it mean when she rises? Yeah, there's like so many different angles we can kind of unpack that woman who rises, but it's about the woman who dares to descend first before she ascends. So meaning like she's really, she has the courage to say yes to all different parts of herself, has the courage to say yes to, shadow work, to initiations, to challenges that life brings her on her path. Yeah, and then really from there unpacking, and from there starting to rise to really from the bottom, like from embodiment, rather than from the upper chakras.
Okay, yeah. And would you also say that the woman who rises, or the untamed woman, is a woman that is living her true path, like her unique path in life, and is peeling off all of the conditions that she gathered along her life, the expectations that she was brought up with from her parents, from family, from society. There's so many things, so many conditions that we pick up along our life, like that peeling off, the descending, like you say. But then from that point that you start to really embody who you actually are inside. And a big thing in that for me is also really discovering your medicine and what makes you unique in your being, and what you can actually really bring into society on a big or on a small scale. Can be super small inside your family or in your neighborhood, but really discovering, and that curiosity of, hey, who am I and what am I to bring here in this world?
Yeah, beautiful. I really feel that there's like the woman who rises, or the untamed woman, she has this deep calling to be free, to really live in freedom, and then maybe first working on, okay, how can I be more free? And then in that space, when there's space being created, because we experience more freedom, we experience more expansion, we can start listening and seeing what it is, what our medicine is, what you were saying and sharing so beautifully, like what she can share with her community, and like really say, like going through the initiations, the layers, the conditionings of walking a different path and choosing your path rather than a path that society wants you to walk. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of inner work, and a lot of saying yes to discomfort. And it's that in the spaces of discomfort we start to learn how to hold ourselves, to sit with the discomfort and not to distract and to move away, and to be, to maybe go to events, or to distract with alcohol or other social gatherings, or reading a book, or scrolling your phone. So it's really like being in that void and really allowing yourself to go in there, knowing like when we can hold ourselves in that space of emptiness and nothingness, in that space of void, we can also in that space experience expansion, and from that space we can really birth something beautiful, like also knowing like the most beautiful flower has been planted in the darkest of the soil. She's also needed to be in the earth, in the depth, in the ground, receiving nourishment, tendering care, so from that she can rise from there.
Yeah, I think it's very true what you say. It takes so much courage, and I think a lot of people who you ask what you really want in life, is they say to be free and happy. But then to be free and happy, truly happy, so truly stepping into that light, you really need to work and to be able to sit with. It takes courage, and it takes very often some painful moments to moving through that peeling off the conditions and the layers, and really discovering who you are. Because you kind of you identify with somebody along the way, and that identification usually becomes very precious to you. Like, I am that mother, or I am a lawyer, or I am a healer, or I am a good friend, but what if that all is not who you really are? It's who you want to be, but it's not who you are in the center. And to sit with that and to work through that, it's work.
Yeah.
So yeah, we often say we want to be free, but to be truly free, you need to do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to sit in that void, exactly like you say. Yeah, yeah.
So to a woman who's now like feeling like, oh, there's something, my old jacket or my old coat doesn't really fit anymore, and I feel like I want to change something, but not really knowing like, okay, is it coming from conditioning or not? But like really, who has that deep calling of or urge, that impulse to change? What advice would you give her?
Yeah, it's a good question, because I do think that tools like medicine work or breath work or just sitting in meditation, which might actually be the hardest and not adjust, are very practical, especially in these first steps when you feel like, because this feeling is very important, that you feel like I'm actually ticking all the boxes, but something's itching inside. It's not who I really am, and if I keep living like this, I don't think I will have lived the best life that is out there for me. That feeling is very important, and it's very precious to really act upon it. And I think in that point, it's very helpful to start using tools, to start connecting to people who you feel, who inspire you, and you feel they are living their free life, their authentic life, their being. So yeah, there are many tools that you can explore at that point of view. And I think for this beginning of the journey, it's very helpful. Yeah. And later on, also at certain points, but it can also be tricky, because it can also be the path itself that you think that doing the tools is the path, and that's not. Yeah.
Very beautiful. It's about really kind of the anchors we can create for ourselves, and that can be in form of practices or sisterhood, obviously. We're going to go into sisterhood in a moment as well. But to find those anchors who can remind you that you're on the path, that you're doing the work, and also like being held in love and compassion, and all those tools, whether it's breath work or meditation or different modalities you can apply, they help you to kind of feel yourself again, to feel your body, to remind you of your breath. And sometimes we just need those reminders in our lives to be remembered that we're still on the right path. And that is also when sisterhood comes in. And there's like, obviously we see a lot the term sisterhood now rising, but there's something different between sisterhood and friendship. So if we would look at these two different frameworks, how would you differentiate them?
I don't think they need to be different.
Yeah.
It's also just a name that we give, of course. But yeah, often we see friendship is you're friends with somebody for a certain purpose. Like you connect well along common hobbies, or you like to do things together, or you have both kids that are friends of each other. Like, but there is a certain depth that is not touched in usual friendships. And I think a lot of women have those friendships, maybe a lot of them, a very full agenda, but they still feel a longing to connect deeper with women on a deeper level. And I think actually that is what we're meant to do. And in a sisterhood, there's space for everything. So it can be that you check up on each other every day. It doesn't need to be, but there is a depth in sharing feelings with each other, sharing emotions with each other, really being there for each other in different ways. It can unpacking or unfold in very different ways. But you are also being mirrors to each other and feeling open to receive those mirrors by the other one as well. And it doesn't mean criticism, but just means in a loving way, hey, I see you doing this and this all over and over again in these certain situations. Maybe it's time to look at it, you know? Like, yeah, it is such a very important chapter in growing and in descending and then lifting. Like to have true sisterhood and somebody that you can really rely upon and know that it's unconditional.
Yeah. beautiful.
Yeah.
And I also feel like in sisterhood, it's like when we're going, for instance, through a void, or we're in this cycle of descending at the moment, because also knowing like once we descend, there's also going to be a cycle of ascending again. That's just the law of nature. But when you're in the cycle of descending, that your sister is not going to fix you, but she's empowering you to step into the void, and she's supporting you along the journey, but also activating you and remembering you that you hold all the keys and codes yourself in order to really step into your medicine, because it is so important to have a cheerleader standing next to you and not somebody who's mothering you, because we women, we tend to be in that pleasing energy, and in friendship it's always like, oh, we fix somebody and we want to immediately make sure that the person is better, but just knowing that this is also part of the healing journey and honoring your dear sister, your dear beloved, what she's going through right now, and just knowing like, I'm here, I'm going to hold you, I see what cycle you're in right now, and I know your vice is going to come again. And I think that's really the space of unconditional love, where you can drop all the masks, and it's like when we drop all the masks, we can fully step into who we are, and we can say yes to all the emotions, we can say yes to all the cycles of death we're going through at the moment. And I think this is something really beautiful to also, when you're yourself in the cycle of dying or shedding, and the sister who's holding you, mirroring you right now, she's in her full bloom, like not being jealous. Like just knowing like, oh yeah, you've been in that cycle too. Thank you for remembering me.
I will be there.
I'll make it through to the other side. You know, just knowing everything is cyclical. And I think that's also the part of the woman who rises, stepping into the untamed woman. And I mean, we've been working with so many women over the past years. And there's constantly also some women who are constantly looking for healing and for fixing. And constantly in the same cycle, in the same loop. And when you're stepping into the woman who rises, you're saying yes to breaking out of the cycle. So you're really stepping into more freedom. And this takes so much courage. And sometimes we don't know how to step out. And this is also what we're here to bring and to share. And that is the calling from She Rises, to initiate and motivate women to break out of their loop, to really say yes.
Completely. Beautiful, really beautifully said. It's really about that empowerment, that you have everything inside of you and nobody is going to save you. And I think we like to save people in general, women. We like to save our sisters, we like to save our lovers, we like to fix everything, like to take care, but nobody can be saved. You can only save yourself. And if you find yourself in loops in your life, you gotta look at yourself and see what's inviting it, and you can do it. You can do it, and you can get free, and
And it's like, that's the beauty also of sisterhood. We have those mirrors where we can be invited to look at our blind spots, because obviously when we're in loops, when you're in certain patterns and we're attracting the same things over and over again, we're not seeing, because it's a blind spot. We're not aware of it. And that's the beauty of like sisterhood, like really celebrating your sister to rise and to step into her full potential. And that means, like, also just as your mother is telling you don't touch the hot stove because you're going to burn yourself, it's just out of love, you're mirroring the person so she can become aware, and you can give the presence. And that's also what we're doing a lot in our work, but it's for the woman who receives the gift to unpack it. You cannot unpack it for somebody else. And that's also the work we hold. Like, we always come from the principle of abundance, like sharing all the tools, all the wisdom, because eventually you don't come back working with us because you're free. And that's our path, that's our calling, that you're not depending on somebody else again, and we're here to support you on this journey. And this is our calling as well.
It's all about empowerment and believing in your own capacity to hold and to carry and to grow your container of everything, anything that you carry and want to carry. And choosing from that big capacity that you have what you actually really want to carry.
And what do you mean with container?
Actually, like, I can see it as the space that you are holding getting bigger and bigger. So a container is maybe not the right word, because I feel like it has boundaries, but I actually feel it grows just all the time. It's an expanding thing, that knowing that anything that comes onto your path, you can hold yourself through it. And through holding yourself with it in awareness, you can hold others through the same process or different processes but with the same depth and emotions, in the same way. So the deeper you descend, the bigger your space is to hold yourself and others.
Yeah, one of my teachers also beautifully always referred to as the compassion barometer. So imagining your compassion zone is like this and then your life, you met with life challenges, and then so I'm holding my hands like shoulder width, for the ones who are watching, who are listening online. So that's then the range you have to experience compassion, and then like the more you come out of your comfort zone, the more you push yourself, the more you stretch yourself, where your nervous system still feels safe, the more you're broadening your compassion zone, and the more you can hold yourself with whatever is coming on your path, and also meeting others. So it's exactly the same, but really more like from the perspective of compassion and love and unconditional love, like to really welcome all parts of you. And like especially in our society, like being a woman, there's so many things, the way we should look like, the way we should move, the way we should talk, like we can go into a whole new podcast with that episode, of course. But also just knowing like when there's this inner critic arising within you, that you can still hold that voice, that inner voice, with love. And not reject it.
When you reject it, it just becomes bigger. It stays exactly where it is, and it grows. And that's the challenge, because how to do that? It takes curiosity and work. And why, in your idea, is it important that we start to rise? For us personally, but also for the bigger picture, maybe for your family and friends, and maybe for the world.
I think it's to voice, to have a voice in society, to have a voice that is different from what society expects us to speak, to behave, to move, to look like, to really feel what it is that nourishes you and how you want to express. And that can be any form that feels most aligned for you, whether it's wearing different clothes or like living in a caravan or living in nature, just like which is not come into the picture, but really in alignment with your own picture, so that you're no longer influenced by how you should choose certain occupations or studies, to really feel like, okay, what is serving my highest purpose, what is serving my highest timeline, and really stepping into that, so that you feel fulfilled, and not only just the short moments of happiness and bliss and joy, but to really have this deep rooting, burning from inside, like I'm walking my path. And just remembering, like what you're always saying so beautiful, I'm holding my vision. Just remembering your calling, your vision, and knowing that everything that is coming on your path is inviting you to hold even stronger your vision. So you probably want to add something on that, but
not specifically on this, but I'm trying to uncover or to convey, like, why do we think it's important for you listening or watching to rise? Like, why do we want you to rise and to step into the untamed woman that you are? Why do we think that?
I just want every woman and every being on this planet to just be free of expectations from somebody else, be free of the conditionings, be free of like when we feel we always have to perform because our boss or our partner, anybody expects something from us, but really just dropping the expectations, so really know what it is, where we can move our energy to, because if we peel off the layers of conditioning, of expectations, there's so much space and energy for our own path, for our own healing, for our own where there's space also for light to come in. And when there's no space, when there's so much conditionings and labels, then we're usually stagnating more in the mind, and there's contractions, so we cannot really drop into our hearts, we cannot drop into our wombs. So it's really unlocking the wisdom and celebrating every woman and wishing and praying for every woman to really break out of the conditioning, and doesn't mean that you're now gonna not respect the people around you anymore. Like,
Has
not
nothing
at all.
to do with it.
No,
No,
it's got nothing to do
No.
with it. That you're gonna be a rebel, but it's more like staying centered and following your heart, following your vision. And because when we follow our heart and our vision, we're very much connected to love, and that what fulfills us, and then we don't want to harm anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like living even more in unconditional love.
Yeah, beautiful. I feel you completely. I think this is the key to really be able to connect in a deep way with people, and really wanting the best for everybody around. Like, really, without jealousy, without envy, without anger, but holding your boundaries. But it will make a huge difference in our individual lives as women, to walk your path, to really be free, because I think this is the only form of freedom. It has nothing to do with where you live, what you wear, where you travel, what you're able to do with the money that you gain or not gain. That has nothing to do with real freedom. Real freedom is this, being exactly who you are from the inside. And I think that real happiness and fulfillment comes with that. Like, real happiness from inside, not the happiness that you buy in the store. That comes and goes very quickly again. And from that, being fulfilled and happy and carrying your medicine, which we will also talk more about in another podcast, what it actually really means to carry your medicine. You're able to connect with others in a different way. And from that vision I had really strongly in a ceremony, like, that's where the real change starts in this world, when we as women start to embody again who we really are, and hold the people around us with so much love, like a grandmother gives love, like seeing everything that happens, seeing everything playing out in front of you, and love all the children around her, like, with that love. I think that will change the world, really. But it comes from small. It comes from you. And then from your family. And then how you hold your children. And then how you communicate with your sisters. And then how you are at work. And it spreads. But so I think it's very important. It's not that you do this for yourself, walking this path of the untamed woman, because it comes with a deep fulfillment and a deep happiness and a deep joy. But it's what really makes a difference in the world.
Thank you.
So we really hope that we inspire you to get more in touch with who you really are. I think it would be beautiful to share a meditation that we can put online for you to access. Maybe if you feel this itch inside but you're not sure where to start, it can be your first start.
So also, you find it in the show notes, the link to the meditation.
Also a really beautiful tool to practice. I mean, you don't have access yet to other maybe bigger things, but this is actually a big thing, is just to journal what's going on inside of you. And maybe in the morning for 2 minutes, or in the evening before you go to sleep, just connecting to yourself to discover what you feel and what you actually maybe thought that day, or whatever comes to mind. Just start to connect with yourself and your inner being.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We're looking forward to taking you along the journey and see you rise.